Roar with Not Square Design. It's having some recording difficulties there for a moment, so hopefully my past videos haven't had that. If it pauses and unpauses, if anybody sees those videos, if you could drop me an email. You can email me. I'm gonna put it right here. And if you see any errors in my videos that it just seems like it's just I got to redo that one too. Then I don't know why my OSB is picking up my space bar as the pause, unpause because I set the page down and I turned space bar off. So what I did is I changed my space bar to something that shouldn't affect things because in AutoCAD we all use space bar for um, for our enter key. Make this easier to read. Maybe. So please, if you see stuff in my other videos, I would sure appreciate you pointing out what video that is in, and I may have to redo that lesson. If it's horrible and doesn't make any sense, it's not going to help anybody. So um, hopefully you're getting something out of this. But anyway, back to this one. What I've got going is the same as a lot of ours. We're compatible with AutoCAD Lite. This entire plan is in 2D. So even though you see my little circle up here, it won't affect you. In this lesson, we'll be taking the engineering sheets from Cascade Engineering, interpreting them to create the proper details, and then tying them to the foundation plan with detail bubbles. I generally attempt to find a detail from my collection that's close to what I'm aiming to create. Here, I will take a retaining wall detail from a taller wall and edit it to match um, the 3 retaining wall types per engineering. So I'm going to do type 1, and then it'll just be a repeat for 2 and 3, so I won't record those. But once they're all done, then we'll also tie it into the foundation plan bubbles. So let's get moving, and I'll try and go through it quicker because I had to give that disclaimer up front and waste some time. So first off, in my blocks, I want to have this block in here. And this one wasn't even drawn correctly. Oh, we don't need any of this. There's no floor system in this location. We will have a wall, and the wall will be, this is drawn to scale, so I don't know what that was, where it came from, but I'm guessing it's from very old stuff. Um, so let's just get rid of this jazz, and hopefully, we can move this down accordingly because it's more to scale. We're going to scoot it over too, and it'll center it. But that has to do with some of the stuff that we're going to be doing with the engineering plan. And I'm going to show you that here. So these particular plans were done by a good friend of mine I went to school with, Cascade Engineering, Dimitri Wright. And one thing, if you're going to do this sort of informational videos, make sure you're protecting your clients. So even here, I had to make sure I had the latitude, longitude, where it just points you right to where the site is. So all the sheets, I just wipe that stuff out. We're going to be working on retaining wall type 1 first, and there are 3. And so this is the calculations and stuff that are used to create this. And we're going to start here with our general size. And so I'll zoom in so that you can read it a little better. And what we have is a 50-inch or 4 foot 2-inch overall width. We have a 12-inch deep concrete footing, and then we have 7'6" to grade and a 6-inch grade to wood per code. This side of the footing will be at 1'6" or 2 inches 8 inches of concrete wall, and then 2 foot towards the grade side. And as you get to know a little bit about footings, a lot of times the bigger foot is under the dirt because that dirt is helping holding it from tipping over. So, depending on how much you're burying, that kind of thing gets into the design. Sometimes they'll put a cleat here, and that's to keep it from sliding if you're on a slope. So, what we've got with these general dimensions, we can start there and go down to the bottom. Actually, we did start a little bit, didn't we? So this hatch pattern, let's take this guy, just so I can exactly move that. Do I move it to there? And I'm still recording, so good. It's working this time. Move that from there, and we'll put it there. Okay. Now this one I can just delete because I've got dot pattern. And now we can stretch this to the size that we want. We're going to be stretching this one out this way, so I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit, and we'll bring it back when we're ready. The times 16 is kind of old school stuff that you don't really have to worry about, but it is the basic scale factor for a 3/4 inch scale drawing. We're going to change this to match basically the name that we have up here. And so if you come in here, whoops, I didn't double click good enough. You'll see there is a percent U. That's giving you the underline that's under here. And then we want it to read tip 8 foot. So TYP space 8 foot space, then retaining wall, and then I just need parentheses. Silty, can I spell? I want to turn my caps lock on. Silty, can't spell. Sand. So we can hit apply if I want, or just OK. Apply if you want to go on to other stuff, such as this. A good thing to think about right here is probably, let's go ahead and change this to SX. Now it's going to remind us, hey, we need to set this up to be for the sheet. Looks like I didn't have my caps lock on there either. So now that's looking good. We have that part complete. And I need this 1/8 to be 2 feet, so I need to stretch it out 4 inches. And I'm going to stretch it at, let's go with this location right here. That from there out 4. And now I have my, so that's a 20 inch. And I want it to be 2 feet, so I missed by 2 inches. So I can just hit stretch previous and then take my point, come out at 2. And now I have the 2 feet. Then the 8 inches is correct. And this is, if you look in properties, I've showed you different ways on different videos how to change this. But here we're just going to go down to the text override. We're going to delete it. When you delete it, you're just going to have the 2'6" there. So now we know what it is. And so now we have to change it to what we need it to be. And we want that to be 18 inches. So I'm going to stretch it down a foot. Be kind of a weird one to get. I'm just gonna have to reorient some stuff afterwards. Or let's move it. Move it might be easier. Or we can stretch this portion alone for right now. And I missed it. So stretch that from there. 12. Now I have my 18 inches. So I just gotta fix this guy. What we'll also be looking at is when I get these from Dimitri, he gives me a really cool extra feature. He can just give me the transverse and my horizontal, my verticals, and that sort of stuff. But instead, he really laid it out nice this time, and it's almost through the detail. So he could even send me this, and we've just gone from this. But nonetheless, it's a great exercise for us to do. So we want this 3 inches clear, 3 inches clear here. Um, the longitudinal bars, that is this guy, that one, and this one. And if you go down to the schedule, longitudinal, we need to be number 5, so there's going to be 5 of them. I do need to call him. It's Friday evening, so I need to call him on Monday and see what's going on. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's got 5 listed in here. So I need to see if we are counting a bond beam, if he wants one up here with this guy, where exactly he would like that 5th bar. Since it's not shown here, it may be up in the literature. If I find that later, I'll point that out. But the type 1 also, and the type 1, just so you know, type 1 is the definition for this one that we showed way up top. That's 8 feet tall. And then we have one that gets shorter, and then one that's shorter still, and that's why we're getting into these lower numbers. So this has 3 number 5s, 3 number 5s, number 5s at 18, 18 again. And the footing size may vary. We will have to look at what's going on. So here's our horizontal bars for type 1. We have 6 horizontal bars in the wall. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as drawn here. And then our vertical bars is this bar right here. It comes over, and what it's showing here is that we need to lap this. And they don't make this bend in it. But you do lap it. And they just kind of one behind the other, right next to each other. And then they tie them all together. Tie a horizontal bar right at the lap joint. And then the lap occurs 48 inches from the top of the footing. So basically all the information we need is here. And then we need 1 3/4 of an inch of concrete outside of the steel. And that's to help prevent corrosion. 3 inches min, and down in the bottoms, it usually is 3. I think the concrete industry is a lot of that's spec'd too, so you might see that a lot too. So that is what we're going for. I'm going to drag it over to the side. So if you need to, you can go back and look at that portion of the video to see what those settings are, but I will call them out as I fix them. So here, I've got an offset 3 there and an offset of 3 there. And this one's, it's set to 3, but I just never liked the way that this looked. So I'll show you how I fix that and pull this down. So this guy will come down, and sometimes I can put it back here, and I'll show you what we'll do with that. And it's kind of a cool little trick. But I'll take this line back, drag it maybe to there, just so it's lining up nicely. And then I can stretch these guys up a little. And all I want to do is get them above that, because this is a minimum clearance. So I'm going to stretch all these bars, but I don't want to stretch that line. I don't need to stretch those. That won't matter, stretching in the middle, so we'll change the thing. And I want this to stay where it is, because that's my dimension line. We're going to do something with that. So I'm just going to come in closer, and I'm just going to grab a point and watch where it goes till I feel like, okay, I got my clearance. It's 3 foot minimum, or 3 inches minimum. So now this isn't reading very well. So what I can do with that, let's bring this out of the way a little bit first, and we'll clean this up too. But for this guy, I want to come over to my, my properties. I must have more, I have more than one selected. Okay, grab that, come to properties, scroll down to fit. It says move text, no leader. I want a leader. I'm going to add leader. And then I'm going to bring it down. And if I make it so that it's the angle is the same angle as the tick marks. It makes it clear because I really don't like to cross lines unless I have to. And there's not a whole lot of space in here, and I don't need this dimension because it's on this side. But what I do need is I need to stretch the whole thing, and we're going to stretch it from here up. That'll mess that up. Let's stretch it from here down. I'm going to grab this guy. So I'm going to stretch from there to there. And that's going to, I should have done this first. You'll see why. So I'm going to come down. I need this to go from 8 to 12, so 4. And you can see my, oh, even that. That's good. I'm kind of glad this happened. So we're going to stretch this down now. And I don't need to stretch that or that. And we're going to bring it down that same amount, 4 inches. And this 3, I should have done it first. Let's undo that. Let's fix this first. So if I come in here to my properties, or I could double click on it to show you the other way of editing. Let's do that. So double click, change this guy from 3 inches to um, less than, and then greater than, and it'll put in the number and the inch symbol. So it's 7 inches right now, and that is where we need it to be 4. So now that that's done, I'm going to stretch that back down to where we want it. And so I need to stretch it in here, and we're going to grab those bars. And then I don't want to mess with my break line. This doesn't really matter because I got to change it anyway. And then we'll bring it down 4. And you can see, well, it didn't correct itself because I apparently didn't do 4. I must hit 3. So what I can do to fix that real quick is stretch P for previous, then pick another spot, go down 1 more inch. Quick and dirty. Now, to make this line look better, I'm going to go MA, select that, and change it to the right layer. So if I turn off my dimensions, this will turn off too. Now I'm going to click this, and I'm going to change this lifetime to dot. Dot's not in here. Click Other, click Load, scroll down, find dot. There it was, dot. Okay, okay. And then you do have to choose dot. Now that it's dot, if you zoom in, or REA maybe? No, not getting it. Oh, it didn't set it. Dot. Okay, but this is too busy. This is actually, these print big enough, they'll bleed together and it'll look like a line again. So if I go to my scale and change this to a 6, let's see how it looks. That looks good. And they are pretty decent sized. They're nowhere near this big, but they will be the same thickness as this line, and this line prints thicker than it's shown. I typically don't show lines with weight as it's done right here, but that's just the difference in drafting techniques for different people. So this is bringing it back to that 3-inch clear that we needed. So now I can get rid of this line. And we're already 3 inches clear off the bottom. So this isn't doing us much good. So we can delete that. We might bring a line of some type back in when we do the soil and stuff, but that will be the compacted soil, which is this guy. And either location, I'm not, this is a totally different detail for somewhere else. So, or compacted fill. So I'm just going to delete that and click. So the note's right, but it's not pointing anything specific. This doesn't need to have 2 lines because this reads wrong as well. This should be top of 4-inch slab. And that's all it needs to say. So I'm going to hit delete. Backspace. There we go. So this is pointing right to the line. That's the way I like it. This will be pointing to this once we get them spaced out. Now, if I offset 48, this guy, because we knew that this lap was to occur 48 inches off this bottom. And just as a reminder, this is what we're going for. So we got this 48 inches here. and that's where that lap is to occur, and we need to put the rebar right there, and we need this to be 1 3/4 clear there. And you could just note it that this is so close. It could be even a print issue if you get it too close. But we are at a 3/4 scale, so I can get away with a lot with my lines. So I need to stretch this guy down. This can come down to where it needs to be. And now if I take this lap 32, the lap is not going to be bar diameters. He simply wants it to be 48 inches. So this one, again, needs to be less than, greater than, and then it turns it to the dimension. So now that that's there, we can see that it's obviously wrong, but we know where it needs to go because it must be here. So I'm going to stretch this. I'm going to take that out of my selection set. I could, no, that's kind of going with it. That's pretty good. I'm going to go from there to there, change it to 4 feet. We're in good shape. So we can delete that guy. My recording's going good. This is the second time I'm doing this one because it's messed up due to some settings. So yeah, if you guys see other videos, please let me know. Sometimes I can swear at my computer, so just would appreciate it. So here we need 5, and down at the bottom and at the top we have a bond beam. And what that is we got 2 rebar there, we got 2 rebar here, and if this was CMU instead of a solid concrete wall, there would be a breakout in the block where bond beam or these rebars can run through continuous. There'd be one here, one there. And so you run those bond beam courses in CMU, but this is solid concrete, so we just have to do rebar placement. So here I need to, let's get this guy set. I'll set 1.75 to get my clearance for this bar here, and that's off enough to where it's worth moving, and it'll fix what's going on up here. So we're actually going to move this, which is going to screw this one up. So I'm going to offset that 3 again, because we're going to have to bring that back when we move it. So we will move this line along with these. So it doesn't matter if you move that one. It's, when you print it, you'll see what I mean. So we're going to move that, and we will take this guy with us. And then we'll position our rebar afterward, the horizontals after we're done. I'm just going to come in where I can get a good view of it, and then, ooh, what was my command there? Let's then delete. So move, move that, and my anchor bolt, and then zoom in nice and tight so I can see it. And I'm just going to come over where, feel comfortable. That'd be perfect. It's a minimum clearance. I'm not dimensioning to it because it will dimension to the middle of the polyline. So this is where I'll be dimensioning to that line there. And if I want to, I actually should have, if it's in here, it's not. I'm going to put it in. This is a general layer in my layer set. So I'm just going to hit new. The layer is called G-junk, and the color is 12. And this is just a layer for your own purposes. If you haven't been watching my videos, it is for your own drafting purposes. So it won't print. That's the thing about it, is if you accidentally leave it there, it's not going to print. So now it's there if we want to dimension to it later. Let's take this guy and move both of these. One of them is going to be off. And we're going to move it from here because the previous piece that was in there was drawn as 2 inch by 4 inch. So when we move this, it's going to be a 1/2 inch difference. So I'll just move it to there. And then that looks pretty good. I don't even have to do anything with that. Oh, dude, this is me, finicky. So I want to rotate this about, and there is this spot right there. And then I like it to be at that 15, 22.5. You can use the 15 if you have that in your snap, but I'm using the 22.5 settings, and it's good enough for what we're talking about here. Bring that up, trim this down, and all it does is it's just like my leaders. I don't put leaders um, with straight jagged lines because they blend into your drawing. And so um, this guy, we can make it say 2x6 wall if we wanted. Um, so this is just let's just put 2x6 stud wall. So 2, small x, 6, um, stud wall. And you'll see there's also some stuff that you can tell they're old details. There's uh, punctuation in them. I've been eliminating punctuation through my newer stuff. So this is going over to there. I could put another one of these dotted lines in if I wanted to. And that is dotted still. REA. Oops. Undo. There. Spin, spin. Let's hit save. Save often. So this guy's. No, I've got one hanging down here for later. So that can go away. And this is looking pretty good. I'm going to take and we're going to stretch this down. And if it grabs the label, fine. If it doesn't, we're going to move it. I don't want it so close to that dimension. Remember that X16 is on the viewport layer? Same as this, they don't print. So it's just a guide for me to know where I'm at with my box. So this is 10 foot. I need to offset. I do 96, 8 feet there. And then I can delete that one, and I'll go ahead and delete this one because when this comes down, I'm going to have to put some stuff in there anyway. So we're going to stretch this, but I don't want to move that with it. And then I'm going to come from there to there. So this guy reads 10 foot max. Why? Well, it's that same deal. I come in here and I go greater equal 8.6. So it's nice because what it did. Oh, and that is supposed to be from the top of footing. So let's come over here. Let's go way up to the top to our dimensions for our wall. And here we have an 8-inch overall wall height, 7.6 of retaining, 6-inch non-retaining. So we got to get that right. So here I'm at 8.6, so I'm still a foot off. And I got 2-inch cover, I got stuff in the way, there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Number 4, horizontal at 12 inches on center. We know these are number 5. And then this is the same note. And let's do something else because I know this one is kind of weird. So I'm going to show you what's going on and we'll fix it. These are tied together. So if you keep them together, they'll move together. If you separate them by not moving the text and you move the leader like that, it's no longer tied. Well, it kind of is tied together because if I move it, but it's going to just keep moving it away. So undo, undo, just grab the text, grab it, move it down. Now, what I do is I like to have kind of it coming off horizontally a little bit, and then let it do what it's going to do to get down under the slab. So this thing is just obnoxiously high, so I'm going to grab it, bring it way down. And I may not even need it because there's another way to dimension that. So we've got a couple things to do in there. Now that I'm getting some of this stuff out of the way, let's move this guy. Oh, see that down below? Let's just move him down somewhere. He's probably horizontally pretty correct, and that's not perfect. So Let's get this guy a little more up. So this starts to get a nice horizontal line on it. That's my finickiness. And then I'll grab that and I'll say move, and let's just go up a little bit. So it's pointing at the bar. Now that I've got this stuff out of the way, I want to put this 4-inch concrete on this side. So I'm going to move it up first so it doesn't hit that other one. When I move it up, now I'm going to mirror it. Let's fix it first. See, engineering got the dash in the wrong place. And I bet, well, no, this is not a dimension, so it's fine. But let's fix this dash. So what I've got here probably is delete, delete, and then hit delete one more time because I want to actually put an enter in. So I force where that returns, hit end, put a dash, see engineering is on that. If you need more space, you can switch that to CONC because it's in the abbreviation set that if you use my stuff, you'll get it. Now, this mirror is not going to work perfectly. So I'm going to mirror this about the middle of this line. I want to bring it across. See the text? Yeah, well, let's just say no. We're just going to erase that one anyway. It's backwards. Well, what's causing that is MIRTEXT. There it is. Text. Set that to 0. Enter. Now, mirror that about that. Come down. And yes. Now I got some room to work over here. 2-inch cover. That's our 1 3/4, and it might look better down below further. So let's move it, and we're gonna move it from here. We're gonna put it to NEA, and I'm gonna put that there, and then we gotta get it to say something that means more to the builder. I don't know that it's real clear what we're getting at there. So once I get it down into position, we want this first off needs to be 1 3/4. So it's going to be 1, and I will also have feet in here, put a dash. If it had a foot, then I put the dash between the feet and the inches and put a space from the inch to the fraction. So 1 3/4. Concrete to rebar. And let's make sure it says right edge, and then we'll delete that out. And it looks pretty good. Let's see how that looks better. So 1 3/4 concrete to rebar edge. And if you want to get really finicky, you could do something like this. Let's pull this up, make this steeper, and then I'm going to copy this from there to there. Now escape, so I only select one of them. See, there's 2 available. Pick one, grab it, pull it up, and over. But we don't want to hit that thing, and it'll snap to it. If you zoom in real close, it won't. Oh, where did it go? It did snap to something. Snap down there. Undo, undo, click, grab it. Now, here's another way you can do it. N-O-N-E turns off your snap for a moment. You can do it down below, but I usually just type that if I'm only going to do one. If I'm going to do a whole bunch in a row, then I'll turn it off. Pull that up so they don't cross each other, and we've got a nice note. So here I'm still off by a foot. We're going to get rid of this guy because when I stretch this down, it's going to hit that. I don't want to move that, and now we're going to come down. Well, and I have 7'6" backfill. Now it's not typical at all retaining walls. This is going to be type 1 space. Oops, put the space in the wrong place. Down here, delete. This is the type 1 retaining wall. It is the height that's changing the way that these are designed. So that's looking pretty good. Our slip plate, our 2x stud. You could name off this anchor bolt if you want. And copy this up to here. And this part is my part, not the engineer's. And so I want these to be 10 inch. So they are 1/2 inch. And then I do, oh, I'll show you how to fix that too. I don't like the fraction because not so bad in a 3/4 drawing, but other drawings, it's hard to see when the numbers get that small. 1/2 inch by 10 inch. And now we just want this to say, if you want to do it simple, it's just AB, anchor bolt. So we looked pretty good there. We do need 2 of these at the top. And so I'm gonna move all these into the middle to start. So let's move that. This one's a special case at the top. So let's put it up here. Let's offset our 3. And at the top, we don't have to be 3. We could go 2 if we want. Do it 2. So, and that almost hit that one perfectly. So that's in good shape because that's a minimum deal. So now I can pull this down a little and then copy it over. And I could put it in the middle. It's a great place to label it. And then here, we're going to have an evenly spaced 5 guys. So actually, no, let's get rid of that. So delete. Now let's go over junk layer. And let's see the layer that lands on 0. So if you want to make sure it plots correctly, all this stuff should be on the D object. That's just a line weight. And this doesn't exist. So let's click on me. I'm going to take, and I've got more than one thing selected. So I'm going to hit this by chance. I think it's going to be all white. Yep, all white. So I can grab that and put it on my D object layer. Now I can unthaw or thaw. This either needs to be on this G-junk layer. Well, it won't print in case we want to use it again. We won't, but just kicks. We'll keep it there. Get to the plot stage of this thing, then you'll be able to see that. So now I need a double down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to grab this because it's already spaced right. Let's just copy it, bring it down, and put it towards the bottom here. And if you get it about midway in your slab there, you're probably in really good shape. We got concrete above and below. So this is not clearance, serious clearance issue, but you want it to be in a bond beam type of location. So the total vertical in this thing, I'm scrolling down on my other drawing really quick. I'm going to bring it over so you can see it. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawn here. And I could have sworn our horizontal in the wall. Oh, there are 6. Okay, thought I was 5. So it's 6. So how I'd like to deal with that. So I'm going to do an X line. I'm going to make sure I'm in my drawing. I'm on my junk. XLH. Some people work from call this a garbage layer. I like that name too. And then come up here. It's doing a dot. I didn't notice that. That didn't go in the middle. I don't know why this is set to dot, but by layer. And so this guy, that one's okay. In fact, you can just do if you want MA. Boom. Boom. But this one is set to by layer now, so new ones will draw correctly. So XL horizontal H, drop it in there, and you have an infinite length line. Now with that, I can do a line from really anywhere. So I'm gonna just do NEA for near there. I can do perpendicular, or I can just drag it down. Even if I come over here, it's gonna give you the right answer. So way over there, that's gonna get into my drawing stuff. So I don't want to do that, but let's just bring it over someplace where it's not vertical, just so you can see that it gives you the right answer. We want 6. We have a top, we have a bottom, so I need 5 breaks. So I need to do a divide this guy by 5. Now, if you want, you can do X, L, H. You can look for them. Oh, there's one. There's one. There's one. And there should be one more. There. See, they're nice, evenly spaced. So that's where my rebar's going to go. So let's first just get rid of that one. And this guy is looking really nice. So we're going to move that with this. I'm going to take this one and this, because I want to get them all horizontally positioned at the same time, and then I'll work on their vertical position. So they're there, and I want them to be out here in the middle of it. I'm going to go from here, just bring it over till I'm in the middle. See my yellow line down below? Nicely spaced. Good enough. Now I've got this lined out. That one's in the right spot. So we can move this one from there. Just come straight up, click it, and do the same with the rest. Move that from there to there, and then move that from there to there. And we've got an extra one. I was going to say we have a completed one. So this is the number 5s. They're 12 inches. Oh, they're not 12 inches on center. So our horizontal are just 6, number 5 horizontal. Oh, this is pointing to our 12-inch on center verts. So if this note isn't already in here, 3/4 rebar edge, 8-inch thick, number 5. Oh, okay. So this is where we've got to put in some more information, and I don't like the way this is going. So we have a total of 6, number 5s. Now this, when it bumps like that, it's trying to do numbering. So I just remove number and bullets, and then come down here, hit backspace. Oops, it was still there. Down here, backspace, space. That was, there was an enter in there. And this came back. So if you can get it over here again. Now, come on. It's not gonna be nice to me, is it? Let's try. Oh, maybe it's just spaces. No. So let's put it back in there. So 6. And now it sees those in brackets, so it wants to create a number out of it. So stop auto bullets and numbering. Just do that. Space. And then our number 5 rebar, 12 inches, space, and space, and then get rid of your periods. Delete, delete. And I think there's probably a return. So I'll just go back in space, and then let's see what happens. Yeah, we got it. So if I go one more, you get that. So that's my ultimate spot. That looks good. 6, number 5, horizontal. Ooh, at 12 inches on center. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. They're just 6, number 5, horizontal. There's just 6 of them from the top to the bottom. So that looks good. Let's bring it in. And I've had this problem before where it doesn't want to separate with that 6 where you want it to. It kind of picks its own thing instead of popping one more, but I think it's okay. I think it's the best you can do with that. Okay, that looks good. This needs work. Number 5 at 12 inches on center. So this is our vertical, so it needs to say vert. Also, there's not the best place to put that note because it's going over this dimension. So let's just mirror it. And our mirror settings is set now. Go like this. Yes. Let's move previous from here. And let's find a good spot for it. Type none. I know any. Let's drop it down. a little bit because I think I saw what was going on here. Yeah. So I want it to be up above where I put it. And then I want to drag this guy to get that horizontal off my text. And so I've got number 5 at the space, 12 inches. Get rid of my dots. And those are looking good. Oh, vert. Number 5 verts. And click that girl. Number 5 verts at 12 inches on center. Here's some decimals in this guy. There. And then I do have this, which I don't know if we need it. I'm going to put it over here. We're going to look for the requirements in that. Hopefully I went over this with you, changing that to X when we changed this. Yes, we did. Okay. That's just to remind me, hey, I don't know which detail it is yet because I haven't put it on my plan. And that looks right. Okay, I thought I saw an error there for a minute. So these are all spaced good. These are kind of long and obnoxious. So let's just delete them. And we don't need this, which has a bunch of dots in it. So you'll see you actually grab, oh, enter, 5 down. Let's save. Okay, so we're starting to look better and better. We're going to want our soil. And I usually do that with a spline. Oh, we got to finish this guy up. So, for that, let's take a look. In our wall, we got horizontal bars, but down here we have 2 types. We have transverse in the footing. This top line is a transverse bar. So our transverses are number 5, 18 inches on center, top and bottom. You can't see this distance, so we need to make it a part of the note. And then in the type 1, we have number 5 longitudinal bars, which are the ones coming in and out of the page. And that's where I was saying we got 5 here. I only see 4. I'll talk to you on Monday and see what's going on there. And I have one of these 2 labeled. And why not label them both? So we need the transverse bar up here. And this is the bottom one. So this line you see is not pointing at that bar. It's this, he was just putting a circle around these 3 and this 1. And maybe there's 1 right there. Maybe that's what he's getting at. Usually he's a little more careful not to hide it behind something like that. So I just got to find out. But that would be my best guess, is that that's where that 5th bar is located. So since you may have to see that in another lesson because I won't be able to get that answer till Monday. So right now, let's put in this guy and then get the 3 inches clear. Here, I've got concrete up on top, but I don't have concrete over here. So if I set this at least 2 here. But to match what he's got going on, I'm going to do 3. And 3, we got a whole foot of concrete to work with. So back into here, and we have our 3. And this could be dimensioned as a 3 as well. So if I just go dimension there to there, pull it down, that looks pretty good. And match properties, I can pick my one that's already got the leader on it, and then grab it and drag it out where it's doing what you want it to look nice. There. You could put it up here, but I think it'll be close to here. So 3 inch, oh, be nice if we said clear. And so CLR min. Oh, I got rid of the 3 inch. So if I'm back and I go less than greater than, get it back. If I want this to be fit in here. Oh, it's going the wrong way. There we go. Now it's not going to look as good because as soon as I click it, yeah, my leader goes away. Oops. And when I just choose it, not be in the edit mode. There we go. Now I can grab it. getting close, and you get more function out of choosing where that goes just by zooming in. So I got 3-inch clear, 3-inch clear. That's probably enough of the message of where we want this stuff. Delete back on. We need a fork across this thing. And we had a transverse bar that we need up here, 3 inches down from here. So I'm going to offset 3. Now I'm going to offset 3 again here, and then I can make this just so you get this good practice. I would delete this so quick I wouldn't worry about it, but then it won't print if you forget it. So now I can trim it, trim that, there, and then I can get rid of these if I wanted to. I can leave that one because it's got a dimension on it. I can leave this one if I want to dimension it later. Let's say I get word back, hey, like to see you dimension that. Comes from the engineer, so you're ready to go. Now this line is not the same thickness as this one, but it's the same color. So it's not going to print this thick. It's going to print the line thickness for my color. Some people plot and they draw in thickness. I don't like to do that because you get into a bunch of detail and stuff and your lines are all blending together. So I rely on the color to be my weight, and then I can have a nice fine line to work with for all of my line work while I'm drafting. But to get this to have thickness to match this, it needs to be a polyline. So I'm going to go PE. Oh, that's right, E, P, enter. Do I want to turn it into one? I've already got it chosen, so I'm going to hit yes. And then just hit enter again. You could, if you knew it, change the width. And I do know it because I'm doing a bunch of these, but I'm not going to know it because you don't know it. So MA, pick this one, and it's the same. Now you have that bar set. The only issue is that this thing, which if you look at it, it is going to be 1/4 of an inch. So if you really wanted it to be right, you'd move it down an 8.125. Because if you remember when we set these distances, that line is at the bottom of it, not the middle of it. So it depends on how finicky you want to be. Now, I've got 4 inches AB, so this line goes to, let's go near. I don't want to drop all the way back there. Near there. And then I've got 4 inches of AB here, so I'm going to offset 4. Now I can hatch this, and I want to hatch it with a dot. I don't want to use the concrete. I don't want to use the earth. I want it to be a dot for aggregate base. So I'm going to just go hatch the spot. Now that I've done it, I can come in here and there's concrete. I want the dots. They are sand. And it looks like, looking at the red, I don't know if you get that, how closer I get, that makes it worse. Backing out, you can see it better. So once I change it to the right layer, my dehatched layer, that's going to print nicely. They print bigger than they show. Now, my color standards are kind of set up on how well you can see it on the black background. So blue prints thinner than white. The two thickest lines I have are yellow and red, not 10, but red. And then this is a preference of Dimitri's, and so I use it. It looks good. And then I probably could, if I wanted to, move it over. I don't think it works as good up top. Yeah, it doesn't because of the shift right there. But what we want to do now is we need concrete, and concrete in here. So again, I'm just gonna hatch. Drop one in here. It won't fit back here. Is that? Oh, undo. I zoomed too close. So undo. Hatch is finicky. So hatch, click it. I'm back far enough, I should be able to choose that one. I'm back far enough, I should be able to choose that one. Because I can see the zone. Now I got the whole wall before I go on to more. Okay, so I want to change the wall, but I don't want to rehatch everything. I wouldn't have to rehatch my slab, for instance. So now I can hatch this, enter, hatch this. Oh, because of my lines that are in here, it is separating out. It'll go around dimensions, but it won't go around lines. So there's that. Now those two are separate. So MA, click that, choose my concrete and my concrete. Now the earth is going to come up here and it's going to come down. We want it to kind of look around. This, I stretched it screwy, but the basic shape that we're after is something ish. And so it's just kind of freeform. And so how I do that, stay on my jump layer, SPL, enter, near, and VA. And let's just pick here, 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 here. And I'm going to have an earth hatch. So I don't want this dimension to disappear there. So I'll go around it and then I'll thicken it up a little bit down here, make it read well so it shows up nicely, come up. And then to get around my dimensions and stuff, I'll swing it back in. Let's see if I can see it. There we go. There. Coming up here. And then let's just keep it a little bit straight. And then we'll put a nice curve at the end there. Now it just hits space to get out of that. And then when I hatch this, these are all dimensions. So it should hatch the whole thing at once. So hatch that. If you can't see it very well, you can always switch this guy up to your solid and you'll see it beautifully. And then you can say close. And we're on the right layer. And then this line won't print. So match properties, let's turn it to earth. I think I just turned back to earth. I certainly changed it to the hatch layer. Let's undo that. Click it. Now it's back where it should be. Let's do it. Grab it, drop it there. So, except for this, which is showing the length of this guy, but it's defined by these clearances. So I will look through the literature, but I don't think this is in this one. If it is, it will be written in here, and I just gotta find it. So I'm gonna look through that real quick and see if it is there, and then it'll be on to do the other ones, tie it into the foundation plan. I'll probably just tie this one into the foundation plan, show you how that's done, and then I will go about do the other ones, and it'll just be the final. There we go. It'll be the final drawing if you get the drawing set so you can see it as a final product. But getting kind of late, so I don't think I'm going to wait to draw out that whole thing. So for now, doing extents. I can see right now this is going to be a little too tall for what I need. And zoom extents again. Now it's in here nice. And since this is a great detail that I might use again, I will save it for this job, which is where it's going right now. And then I'll save it out to also be in my, details, foundation details. It is typical 8-inch retaining wall for silty sand. And save. Now, does this apply for every single case that's similar to this? Not exactly. So do make sure that your numbers are correct. And being we have these 4 transverse here, it probably isn't a matter of moving this guy down a little, or it's going to be here. And I think that's my answer. And these guys, I'll move this one, needs to move to the end. From there to there. So that looks great. If I really want to get finicky, I can pull that out too. And I think we've got ourselves a detail. This could come in closer. In fact, yeah, I actually think that that's probably the intent, is to get this in here because of the fact that I think those are stacked. So if I'm wrong, this may be an even space of 4. Or he didn't mean 4. Longitudinal, those are 5s. Oh, okay. We got some notes here that aren't complete. So we need to label our longitudinal bars. So this 2 inches of cover I'm not going to worry about, but I do want to worry about this. And O, then I get that. And O and E, so I can get it close. And then I can change this to read what I want it to. So this will be number 5. Number 5. And these are, well, they're horizontal. We're just going to call them horizontal. If he wants me to change that to transverse, I'm not sure that that would be clear. Although, with the engineering, it actually is because of the great diagram he drew. So we're going to put that in there. Number 5, transverse, verse. Did I spell that? Oh, no, I didn't spell it right. Transverse at 18 inches OC. And then this is T and B. And really, in this case, just put TLP space, come here space, and this fits I don't have a T and B. This fits my abbreviations. So if you don't have it abbreviated, don't start making things that they're going to call you on, because they will call you. Well, the good contractors will call you. So this looks good. And so what we need to do is go to our foundation. So we're going to open, and let's just bring this over. I know you can't see it, but I just want to make sure I don't give up his location identity. So I'm just looking in where it is, go to projects, go to the MHE project, and then I'm going to go to MHE CAD and lesson 1. But yeah, because I did put it in there. So when I put it in there, then we're going to hit S3. Now you can see it. So now I've got the right directory. I want the foundation plan. So I've opened up the foundation plan, and this back wall. So I've got one that's going to be for this wall, one that's going to be for this wall, and then that's a standard. So I got one here, and there's one in between. So this first one that we just did is, if you remember, let's take a look real quick. Go to the plotting. This is that change from the shop to the office, and where you see that here is that's the shop. Sorry, I keep calling it shop. Storage, shop, office. So I can just copy this, and we'll probably move that one down later because it's going to be kind of close to the other one. That doesn't really matter. It is showing the transition. And if the footing width changes, then we'll be changing that too. But I probably already did that. We'll see. You'll see the final detail if you come back for more. So this one's going to be 01. And I can hit OK here. Then once we get our sheet layout complete, which I try to guess, I think I can do this. me see. That's lessons. Let me pull it away for a sec just to make sure I don't pop it into his information. But I use OneNote to track every single project that I work on, and um, CDs, there we go, and the sheet index. All right, so this is what this looks like. Um, I, I usually do this right at the beginning of a project and I take a shot at it. In a cover sheet, I'm going to have my general notes. I'm going to have a floor plan, and then I'm going to have my elevations north and south. There's only an east on this one. The site plan is being done by a civil engineer. He had some stuff to deal with the city here. Then we have the MEP, and S1 is the general structural notes, S2 being the foundation or framing plans. So if it'll fit, excuse me, on that sheet, then what this will read is S 3.0. Oop, point 3.0. Look like this. Tells what sheet, which number, but at this point in time, I don't know if I need a separate detail sheet or if I can fit it on with that. So I'll just change that to next. And that reminds me, yeah, I've got to fix this stuff. So that's how you tie it into your detail bubbles. All these are blocks that I just drop in here. You can stretch them, you can rotate them, you can do all kinds of really fun stuff. And the other types of these are pretty neat too. So in my foundation plans, there's also any drain or in this case vent location. Those are vents, so they're not going to affect my foundation. I do have a toilet and a no, it's only a toilet on the floor, so I will have a drain for the toilet. That will need to be shown, and it is back in this area. So these are just events for that, but nonetheless, that is where we are for this lesson. And we did it in just over an hour. I was trying to keep things under an hour, but I hope you found this useful. Again, this is Mark Farrar with Not Square Design. And yeah, if you see any of those where my videos are screwed up, please email me, Mark at knottystudios.com. And that's KNOTTY studios, STUDIOS.com. Thanks again.